What's up guys, Justin here back again, and today I'm going to be unboxing my very first Spider-Man face shell. So, this face shell that I've got here in this box is from the website called Herostime. Now, one thing that I want to note before I get into this unboxing is that I know that this face shell is not going to be as super duper high quality as ones that you see like in the movies or like 3D printed ones, as in like the accuracy of like the Tom Holland Spider-Man head shape or the Andrew Garfield one or the Raimi one, but I still do know that the face shell is going to be at least decent and it's at least going to be pretty good, and that's all I need. Why did I decide to get a face shell, you ask? Things like Comic-Con and like other conventions and stuff like that, sometimes I like to go and cosplay as Spider-Man. If you look on my Instagram page, you can see some photos of me in like this Miles Morales inspired suit, and obviously, as you know, when you wear a mask just on its own, you can see like creases and everything like that, and it can kind of make your Spider-Man head shape and face look really goofy. So that's sort of the whole point of a face shell. It's supposed to give you a nice lined up look for the head shape and to make you look like you have a Spider-Man head shape. So I'm excited to get into this. As I said, I know it's not going to be as super accurate to the movies, but that doesn't really matter because it's kind of my own thing, and as long as it makes my Spider-Man mask look better, well then that's the most important part. So what I did is I ordered a face shell with some MCU lenses, which apparently they're magnetic, and I also got an extra mask with that with some thick durable fabric, so hopefully that it lives up to the expectations. It says that it was the thickest one you could get, and apparently it was really durable, so that's what I'm hoping for. After I do the unboxing and I go through everything, what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to talk to you guys about my good experiences and my bad experiences. My good experiences being hopefully what's actually inside of this box, and there were some very annoying experiences in the process of buying this particular face shell from this particular website, Herostime. So if Herostime does watch this, I hope they just take this as feedback. I really need to talk about this stuff, so if you guys ever consider buying something like this from that website, then you know what to expect. So that's what I'm going to be talking about after I do this, but I guess without further ado, I guess we should just go ahead and get straight to the unboxing. Also guys, I taped the front of the box so you guys can't track my location. Hopefully if I put the microphone up here, you guys can still hear me well. I'm hoping the audio is good still. Okay, let's just get straight into this then. This is very light. I hope that's not a bad thing. I was already aware before buying this thing that the face shell was going to be a very thin material, so it would be very flimsy. I hope it's not too flimsy, but yeah, it's very light, so I hope it's not going to end up being a bad thing. I still hope that it's a good product, but I guess we'll find out. Ooh. Okay, one thing already, that they've packaged this thing very well. Very well. Wow, okay. As you can see there. It's looking pretty good so far. Oh wow. Okay, guys, look at this. As you can see, we've got the nice Herostime logo on the back of the packaging here, and it's even in a Ziploc bag. Fancy. Okay, so the mask is in here. That's good. I was wondering where it was for a second. There's a mask. It's a bit more of a darker red than I expected, but hopefully that's not a bad thing. Are you ready? So firstly, obviously, is the face shell by itself. As you can see, this is a lot bigger than I expected. But I'm hoping that is not a problem later. I guess we'll find out later. As I mentioned, it is a lot more of a thin material, as I mentioned, so it can be very flimsy, but it's honestly not as bad as I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a lot thinner than this and a lot more flimsy than this, but this is actually a lot better than I thought, so good job, Herostime. If you can see, there are some magnets inside the mask. So those magnets are for the eyes, which I'll show you in a minute. So when you put the eyes on, it'll hold them in place, and even when you have the mask on top of that, you'll be able to just take them off and then put them on. It's that easy. But some things that I have heard is that apparently the magnets can fall off very easily. I've read that in a lot of reviews on the website. If that does happen, I guess you can just stick them on with some hot glue or some silicone or super glue or something like that. But at the moment, they're held in by some sort of tape stuff. I'm not really sure what that is. Yeah, hopefully that's okay. Now, as I said, this thing is a lot bigger than I expected. But the fact that it's not quite the right size, it being bigger, is not as bad as if it were smaller. Because if it's bigger, what you can probably do is you can probably cut some sort of line at the top here, and then you can fold those two pieces over to make it fit your head better. So the fact that it is bigger than my head and not smaller than my head is better. But yeah, first impression, it's actually a lot better than I expected it to be. This is actually pretty durable. So yeah, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is the eyes. These eyes here look really, really nice. I mean, you cannot go wrong with these things. Just look at them. They are pretty much spot on MCU eyes. And as you can see on the other side, also they've got magnets on them, so you can put them onto the face shell. So basically what they're made out of is the edging or the frame of the eye is like a rubbery silicone material, which I actually like. I think that's really nice because it gives them more flexibility if you were to have a different shaped face shell basically. And then the actual white in the center of the eye is like a plastic, and it's fog free. I don't think you can actually get glossy lenses on Herostime. Correct me if I'm wrong if you've bought from the site, but I don't think you can get glossy lenses that can fog up. But these are fog-free lenses and they just look so good. Just, you cannot go wrong with this. Obviously, as you guys know now, that the magnets and the eyes, they'll just slap on like that, and boom, look at this. Perfect. I actually can't get over how nice this looks. Okay, so we get this out of the way, and now we'll look at the mask itself. As I said, looking at it in the packet, the red of the mask is a bit darker than I expected, but hopefully that's not too bad. Here is the mask. It's actually a very nice thick fabric. Wow, that's nice. Okay, here's the mask right here. The material is actually really thick, that is good. So as you can see, there is a zipper on the back, obviously. I mean, that's what most masks come with. And I ordered the mask with the already open eye holes, which was just like an extra $3. So it just saves me cutting them out myself, which my friend Lucas had to do with his mask. But he had to cut out the eye holes because it was just blank there.
There are no eye holes.
Where are the eye holes?
So I just paid an extra $3 for the open eye holes and like an extra $7 just to get thicker, more durable fabric, which is nice. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to test the mask on by itself, and then obviously I'm going to test on the face shell with the mask with the eyes. So let's just do that. Okay guys, this is what the mask looks like just by itself. Obviously it probably looks really goofy right now. Hopefully putting the face shell on with the eyes fixes those problems. So yeah, the fabric is actually a lot thicker than I expected, but one thing I do know is that if you just buy a standard mask from Herostime, the masks are already thick and durable. I just paid for the extra, so I actually don't know if there's any difference with that. If you have bought from Herostime and you do know the difference, or if there is a difference, just let me know in the comments down below, and then I'll know that for future, if I ever go to purchase anything else from Herostime again. But yeah, it is really nice and thick. Yeah, I guess that's it. There's a zipper at the back, as you know, and I got the open eye holes. Now let's go on to the part that you guys have all been waiting for, the face shell with the mask with the eyes. Let's get straight to it. Okay guys, and here is the mask with the face shell and the lenses. And I gotta say, my first thoughts from the front view, it looks really good from the front, and I'm sure you guys will probably agree with me. But when you look at it from the side, this is what it looks like. So obviously, as you can tell, there is a pretty large gap on the top here, and that is simply because the face shell is too big. But as I said earlier, it being bigger is better than it being smaller, because if it's bigger then it's actually easier to modify. So basically, to make it smaller to fit my head better, the best thing that you can probably do is cut a line at the top of the face shell and then use those two pieces at the top to overlap each other, and then you can tighten it the best you can. But if you are going to do that, just be very careful not to break it. So that's what I'm going to try and do, because the face shell is a bit big and you can see some excess parts around the sides and stuff, which is something that we don't want, because it just makes the head shape look really unnatural. So yeah, hopefully that's something that we're able to fix. Obviously, one really cool thing about getting a magnetic face shell with magnetic lenses is that you can just take them off just like this. One problem that I am having with this though, there are some little white fabric parts on the inside of the eye holes. The pieces are a little bit thick and they go towards my eye, so when I put the eyes on, it pokes my eye and that forces me to have my eyes shut, which is really annoying, and I don't want to be walking around at Comic-Con blind. So yeah, one thing that I've kind of figured out how to fix that a little bit is if you just sort of push the fabric to the side like this and then put the eye on, it can help just a little bit, but it is still a little bit annoying and it doesn't work the best. A way to fix it would be maybe cutting some of those bits off on the inside so it doesn't do that. Just be very careful when you do that though, because you don't want to ruin the mask. And I don't know if cutting the eye holes themselves bigger will make it better, because they're already sort of sewn around the edges. So if you do that, it might fray. That's kind of one of the only problems that I'm having. And if the face shell is maybe just a little bit tight on my face, but it's honestly not that bad. There's a lot of room underneath the chin area and up here, which will probably have to be modified later. All that aside, I'm actually really impressed with the quality of the mask and the eyes and the face shell itself. I'm actually really happy with how it looks, especially from the front view. But yeah, as I said, I'm just going to have to modify it and make it a bit smaller for my head so it fits better and it looks more like a natural head shape, because this doesn't look very good. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, hopefully without breaking it. Other than that, it actually looks really good, and I'm even going to be applying some puff paint to the lines of the mask. And obviously the best way to do that is to just do it while it's on the face shell, so you don't have to do it while it's on somebody else's head or on top of your own head, which would be very difficult and very annoying. And I just don't want to puffy paint it with just the mask itself on the table. When I go to puffy paint it, I'll puffy paint it while it's on the face shell, which will make it a lot easier. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? I think it looks really good, and I think it'll look even better after some modification. But yeah, it being one of the cheapest face shells that you can buy out there, I think this is pretty damn good. As I said, since other face shells that you find are really expensive, and they're usually 3D printed, which would be nice, but since this is probably one of the cheapest ones that you can get, I think it's really good, and I'll definitely be using it in the future for like Comic-Cons and other things like that. So yeah. Okay, my forehead might be red from the face shell. Now that the face shell's off, one thing that I'm quickly noticing that I just want to quickly show you guys so that you know if you buy this is that when you look at it from the sides, you can actually sort of see the magnets on the eyes, if you can see that. One thing I wish they did is either making the magnets a bit thinner or embedding them into the actual frames of the lenses. So when you look at the lenses from the back, the magnets actually look flat, but they're actually embedded into the frames. That's something I would do. Or putting little holes in the mask where the magnets would sit in so the eyes would slot in a little bit easier. But other than that, it's not too bad. So if you were to film like a fan film or something and you get like a side shot of the mask, you might see the magnets of the eyes. Other than that, I really like how this looks. As I said, I might just need to modify it and cut a line down and then sort of fold them over to make it a bit more fitting for my head. But all of that aside, the mask and the face shell and the eyes do look really nice all together when they've all been applied together. And even from a side view, this on its own without it being on my head, you can see that the nose and like mouth and head profile actually look really nice, and you can't see my nose or lips through the mask. But yeah, I'm actually really surprised with this overall product. As I said, a few modifications here and there, and it should be perfect to go. To show you guys some close-ups of the mask and face shell and the eyes. Yeah, other than everything, I'm really surprised with the product. Just be very mindful when you pick your measurements for your head, because I went with the measurement that was my head, which was like a 59 centimeters for my like head circumference. But the actual option on the website was like 59 to 63, which would be like in between that, which means it would actually be a little bit bigger than my head. I think the other option might have been like 50 something to 58. I didn't go with that because I was afraid that it might have been just a little bit smaller, since I'm 59 and not 58 for my head circumference. But as I mentioned earlier, having it bigger is better than having it smaller, because it's easier to modify and scale it down rather than trying to get a different piece of plastic to add onto there to make it bigger, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's a plus side to getting a bigger size rather than a smaller size. But yeah, I just keep looking at this thing and it just looks really nice. That's going to be it for the face shell and eyes and mask for this video. But now I want to talk to you guys about my good and bad experiences on buying this product, because I need to give you guys this feedback, otherwise you won't know whether or not you want to buy this face shell in particular for yourself off that website. But hopefully after what you've seen so far that it interests you, because it's really nice and it looks like Spider-Man. So yeah, I think that's the most important part and I'm really happy with it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my good experiences for buying this product. One thing I'll talk about is when you're looking at the face shell on their website, they have really good pictures up so you can actually see exactly what it looks like, and the look of it really intrigued me on the website, and when it came it pretty much looked exactly the same. So good job, Herostime. Another good thing is the reviews. There's a few reviews down in the bottom section of the website of the face shell, and people have posted photos of what it looks like on them, and they've given some pretty good reviews. Plus with that, there's some YouTube videos out there that I saw before I actually bought the product. I didn't really see any videos of people actually explaining in depth of what it looks like and what it's made out of and that, so I thought that I should do that so you guys can know more about the product. But yeah, there's some reviews out there that you guys can look at, which is a good thing, because you don't want to be going in and buying a product blind without knowing anything about it. Another really good thing about buying this off Herostime is that you can really easily get coupon codes to get a discount on your order. So if you literally just search up Herostime coupon codes, you can just find some on some websites that kind of look a little bit shady, but they actually do work, because I watched another video of a guy doing it and he was explaining how to do it, and you can just go to a website and you can copy a coupon code and you can get a discount. So I actually ended up using a coupon code from one of the websites and I ended up getting $15 off the purchase. How good's that? You might be able to find ones out there that you can actually get more of a discount off of, but for the search that I had, the most I could find was getting $15 off the order, which is actually really good. Considering I paid like an extra $30 for shipping, there is another shipping option where you can pay like $21. I just wanted it really quickly, so I paid for like the fastest shipping that you could get. The shipping time is actually pretty good because it came from China and I'm in Australia, and buying things from China and shipping to Australia, they usually take like weeks or maybe even months. Since I paid an extra $30 for the fastest shipping, it only took like 2 weeks or maybe just under 2 weeks, which is pretty good. And obviously with these good experiences, you guys could see my reactions and everything to opening the face shell and the mask and everything, and it's really good. And I was very pleasantly surprised with the material of the mask, of the thickness and the durability. It's pretty high quality, and if you add a puffy paint to that mask, it'll look a million times better. So that is something that I'm definitely going to do, and I'm going to apply the puffy paint to the mask while it's on the face shell, which will make it a lot easier. And with the eyes, I really like the fact that they're like a rubber silicone instead of a hard plastic, which I really like the hard plastic, but the rubber has like this really nice matte look to it, so it's not too shiny, and it also makes it nice and durable so it can wrap around your head when you put it on with the magnets. And obviously the material for the actual eye part if you want to call it that, for the lenses is just a white plastic. Something that's really good about the eyes is that the holes are really small, so you can't actually really see anyone's eyes behind the mask when it's on, because I was just talking to my brother. When I went off camera, I had to put it on in the mirror. But yeah, he said that he couldn't see my eyes through the mask, which is really good, and the visibility out of them is really good as well. Yeah, I can actually give you guys a little look through the lens so you can see what I'm seeing. I don't know how well it's going to pick it up, but I'll do it the best I can. So that's basically what I'm seeing. I don't know how good it looks on the camera, but that is basically what I see through the mask. And yeah, the visibility is really good. If you're looking directly up at a light, it's probably not as good, but if you're looking in dark environments like this, then it looks really, really good, and the visibility is really, really good. So that's another good thing about the eyes. And the face shell plastic, it is pretty thin. It can be pretty flimsy if you push it in with your hands. It is definitely durable enough to be a face shell, as you guys probably saw earlier when I was going in with it like that to show you guys how flimsy it is. It's not even that bad. If you apply a lot of pressure, well then yeah, it might be flimsy, but it's really not even that bad. As I said, when I was opening it, it was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Another one of my good experiences about getting this is that when I was emailing Herostime and they were emailing me, they got back to me very, very fast, which is good. So, you know, having good communication with customers is really important, because if you don't have good communication with your customers, they probably won't be able to stand waiting around for a while because they will want their product. So yeah, they were really quick to get back to me whenever I emailed them, which is a good thing. They even thanked me for replying fast. And another quick thing is that the packaging is really good as well. It comes in this really nice Herostime Ziploc bag, as you guys saw before, which is actually pretty high quality of a bag just for a mask. And the thick like bubble wrap stuff that was in it, they didn't even have to put that in there, but they did. And considering that it came all the way from China, it traveled a long way. I'm actually very pleased and very surprised that it didn't break, since it traveled a very far distance. So yeah, the packaging is really good, and the quality of the bag that it comes in is really good. I'll definitely be keeping this bag. But yeah, good job Herostime on the packaging. That's another good thing about the product. So yeah, when I said to you guys that the box was very, very light, if you just picked it up and didn't know what it was, you would not think that it'd be the weight of a face shell. But when the mask and the eyes are actually attached to the face shell and you pick it up as a whole, it's pretty much the weight that you would expect it to be. Obviously, if it was 3D printed, it'd be thicker and it'd be a bit heavier. But just having this and picking it up, it's pretty much what you would expect. And yeah, you can tell it's a face shell and you can feel that it's a face shell. So yeah, that is pretty much it for my good experiences. Now I'm going to quickly go into my annoying experiences. It was quite the journey getting this face shell, I must say, because I was actually originally going to get a 3D printed face shell from a guy on Instagram that does 3D printed face shells, and they looked really, really nice. And when I was trying to ask him questions about the face shell, sometimes he either wasn't responding and he was taking a while to respond, or he would respond to my question but not in the detail that I would have hoped. Like, I would ask maybe 2 questions in whatever I was saying, and he would only answer one question and completely ignore the other one, and it was kind of annoying me a little bit. After like days of me wanting to get answers for questions I had about it, he just wasn't responding to me. And that's why I was talking about, like, if you're selling something, you got to make sure that you have good communication with your customer, otherwise they'll, you know, lose interest. And since I needed this really quickly for suits for like Comic-Cons and that, if I ever do like another Spider-Man Christmas special this year or something like that, then I'd definitely be using this mask for that. That's why I was in a bit of a hurry to get it, and I didn't know how long it was going to take to come all the way from China. I know that experience wasn't related to Herostime, but we'll get into those experiences now. So I think one of the most annoying experiences I had about getting this face shell was the lack of information that they had on their website about locations of where they can ship and where they can't ship. I did have a look on their website after I bought it, and I think they do have some sort of info page about what I'm about to talk about, but it's very vague, and it's like somewhere all the way down at the bottom of the page in little tiny writing, and it's not really that much info. It doesn't really give you any insight. The problem that I was having was, shortly after I actually bought this face shell, and I put my address and everything in, they sent me an email saying that my house and the area that I live in was too far away for them to ship it, which was really annoying because I didn't have any of that info on their page saying anything about if your house is too far for them to ship. What they then told me is that I would either have to give them a new address to send it to, or I would have to pay an extra $50 to get it sent to my house because it's further. I looked at that and I was pissed. Because they didn't have that info on their page. I would have to give them a new address that's closer to like their factories and all that sort of stuff to ship stuff. So I ended up having to get this shipped to another address, which was to some of my family members that lived in a different area. Obviously we checked with them first because we weren't just going to send it off and then they're like, oh, what's this, a Spider-Man face shell? Oh, I might keep that. So yeah, we figured that out and they were happy to get it shipped to their house and then give it to me later, which they actually came down and gave it to my mum today, so which was kind of funny. But yeah, if I didn't do that, I would have had to have paid an extra $50 to get it shipped to my house, even though I paid already an extra $30 to get the fastest shipping I could. The whole order, by the way, this with the extra thick fabric and the open eye holes and the extra shipping was like $146 or something like that. This is like probably the cheapest you can get for something like this, and so far I would say that this is really, really good, this product. But having to pay an extra $50 to get it sent out to here because my house is too far, it just... no. Luckily, I was able to get it shipped to some of my family members and they were happy to do that. So yeah, that is just probably one of my biggest complaints about the website, is that they don't have that info. And it's also because it went through the DHL service, which I heard can be a bit of a tricky shipping service, because they actually originally tried shipping this to my family members and they weren't home at the time, and then they held on to it, like they couldn't even drop it off or anything like that, which was really annoying. I'm not annoyed at my family members, I'm just annoyed at the fact that they couldn't just drop it off there. So yeah, the shipping service that was used to ship this was probably a bit of a tricky experience as well. So whenever I buy anything that's Spider-Man costume related... Sorry guys, the camera battery just died on my camera, so I have to just keep recording with my webcam, so hopefully that's okay. Sorry if the lighting's really bad, but I just want to quickly wrap up this video. As I was saying, yeah, the shipping was a little bit tricky, so if I ever buy anything Spider-Man costume related in the future, I'll probably try and buy it from another website, or maybe someone on Instagram or something like that. Not that the Herostime products are bad. From just this one product, I really, really like it. It's just the shipping service that you have to go through to get it here is a little bit annoying, and it's like you have to be home constantly and keep looking out the window just to make sure that the product is here, because they're not going to drop it off. That's pretty much it for my bad experiences. Other than that, yeah, this was a bit of a journey getting this thing. Other than the little touch-ups that need to be done, I really, really like the way this looks, the way it feels. It's just really nice. Herostime products, basing off of my experience right now, I do recommend this face shell. Just be mindful of your head measurements, because I went with the one that was just a bit bigger than my head measurement, and it obviously is bigger than my head. So if you end up having to do that as well, then you might also have to modify it, like what I'm going to try and do. I don't know if I would recommend getting a smaller size, because I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be too small, but yeah, other than that, I really, really love this thing. Like, this just looks really, really good. Even the side profile, even if you can see the magnets a little bit, I honestly don't think it's that bad. But yeah, really, really pleased with this. I hope you guys really enjoyed this unboxing video and explanation video of my experiences. I hope that this video is not dragging on too long. I think I've already been recording for maybe just under an hour. I'm just going to wrap up this video now because I don't want to drag this talking segment of the video on for too long. So I hope you guys can take in what I've said about my experiences, the good and the bad, and I hope you can take in what I've showed you of this product. I'll leave a link to this face shell and Herostime down in the description below. So yeah. Alright, I think that's going to do it for this video, guys, and I really hope you like the face shell as much as I do. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reply if you have any questions or anything like that about the product, or just anything about the channel, really. I'm going to wrap up this video here. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day. See ya!